Personal question about Ravi Zacharias passing away just in the last 24 hours or so. I know his teachings were so important to you, especially at Oxford. You've mentioned this. Can you tell me a little bit about what he meant to you personally and the loss for the Christian community?
Yeah, it's a huge loss. You know, my dad said to me that Billy Graham was the great evangelist. And I think Ravi Zacharias is the great apologist.
Yeah. I know this is tough. I know. Yeah.
We don't have to cry because we're Christians, so we know he's a therapist.
Yeah, I mean, we're human the last time I checked. But the tears come from what? What was it that, because it feels like Oxford and your development of your faith.
Yeah, and you know, Ravi's someone that I never met. I know his team, and I know some of those who are around him, but you know, for me as a Christian, I always had the heart for Jesus Christ that I got at a very young age. I was saved when I was, you know, in my teens. But to have someone who from an academic place, as an apologist, could equip you with those arguments where you didn't have to check your brain at the door when you became a Christian, where there is intellectual foundation for everything we believe. Right. There's prophecy, there's the human cell, there's the amazing creation of the human body and all of its complexity and the planet, the universe. And he put a philosophical and academic rationale for the heart that I had for Christ, but gave me the ability to go to Oxford, where there are renowned atheist scholars who try to say there's no intellectual undergirding for Christianity. Ravi Zacharias, who happened to have an office at Oxford, was the person who provided the counter to that. The intelligence behind why we believe what we believe. And you know, your mind can never get you fully there. It's a place only your heart can take you. But Ravi Zacharias provided those steps to put in the minds of an academic, wow, I should give the Christian faith some thought. And you know, Ravi, he means so much. As I was saying earlier, you know, Billy Graham was the great evangelist. Ravi Zacharias is the great apologist. And you know, I think the words that were at the very bottom of the announcement today of his passing are so important. He had a verse there and it said, "Because I live, you also will live." John 14:19. And they said that these 7 words changed Ravi's life 57 years ago. He was on a bed of suicide, as he described it, and it was a Bible that was handed to him, and those words in particular that set him on a 57-year path that has truly saved lives. I, on Sunday, watched a sermon knowing, you know, Ravi was in a tough spot and was no longer getting treatment. So I had my daughter on my lap, and we were watching the sermon, of Ravi, and my husband was there, my mother-in-law was there, and it was a sermon about purpose, and it was a sermon about how every human life has a purpose. You are here for a reason. Every life matters, and it's about finding that purpose. And just hearing him speak and hearing those words was so meaningful. And it was in that sermon, I believe, where he shared the story of a CNN sportscaster who was living a profligate lifestyle and making bad decisions in life, but changed his life and found his purpose and found a family and became a Christian and got very sick. And when he was on his deathbed, the CNN sportscaster said that he was just really in search of God and really in search of finding Christ and hearing from Christ as he was about to leave behind his little daughter. And he said he saw a figure that is how he always imagined Jesus Christ would look like. And who he had pictured was Jesus sat on the corner of his bed and said, "Tonight's not the night you will pass." And he had this distinct moment before he passed. And in watching Ravi describe that moment, knowing that he was probably in the next few days coming to his last moment, it changed me once again to hear that and to post the sermon on Twitter and have a user say, wow, I've never given Christianity a thought, but having watched what Ravi had to say, I may have to give Christianity a thought. So Ravi, his life may have ended, but his life continues in the next life. He is someone I'll meet in heaven, and rest assured his legacy will always be here, and he will continue to change lives.